Hello again, welcome back to the Telltale channel. Today we have another special bonanza of 3 classic Thomas and Friends stories for you to enjoy. To start with, we have Percy's Chocolate Crunch, followed by James and the Red Balloon, and finally, Thomas and the Rumours. Be sure to pay close attention to the stories and watch them all the way to the end for the fun quizzes and fun facts. Please remember you can help the channel grow by just clicking the subscribe button. It's 100% free. Sir Topham Hatt's engines love being shiny and clean. It makes them feel cheerful as they puff across the island of Sodor. Percy often has the dirtiest work to do, but he likes to be clean as well as any other engine. Washdowns are important to Percy. But Sir Topham Hatt had bad news. Due to a water shortage, he said, no engine shall have more than 1 washdown a day. Usefulness before cleanliness, he added, and left. Percy was upset. I get dirty, he complained. I need washdowns, Gordon only does it to feel important. I am important, Gordon sniffed, I'm an express engine. You're a pouty puffer, Percy teased James. No, I'm not, wheezed Percy, and he chuffed away. Percy was loading freight cars at the docks. He was trying extra hard to stay clean, but the troublesome trucks were being naughty. As Percy pushed them under the coal chute, they sang out. On, they cried. Percy found himself under the chute, and coal dust flew everywhere. Oh no, coughed Percy, I'm filthy. Percy felt awful, but he knew he had to carry on. On the way to Callan Station, the troublesome trucks teased Percy even more. Clickety-clack, don't look back, dirty Percy's on our track. Be quiet, Percy snapped. When Percy arrived at Callan Station, he was very upset. From now on, I am only doing work where I won't get dirty. Harold the helicopter was at Callan Station picking up medical supplies. Hello, Percy, he called, and he took off, blowing cinders and ashes everywhere. Not again, cried Percy, I want a washdown. Usefulness before cleanliness, reminded his driver. I want to be useful where I can't get dirty, Percy huffed. There's a load of sugar going to the chocolate factory, his driver said. We could take the sugar cars. Sugar, said Percy, that's nice and clean. Percy was pleased. Percy didn't know that earlier a leaky freight car had spilled oil on the track. When he approached the chocolate factory, his driver applied the brakes, but Percy's wheels just skidded on the oily rails. Oh no, hooted Percy, yuck, he groaned, I've never been this dirty. He was covered from funnel to firebox in sticky gooey chocolate. Back at the sheds, everyone thought it was very funny. You look good enough to eat, Thomas hooted. Bonbon, Percy teased James. Chalk ice on wheels, chipped in Henry. Disgraceful, said Gordon pompously. Ahem, said a stern-sounding voice. It was Sir Topham Hatt. You have had a trying day, Percy, he said. Yes, sir, replied Percy from beneath the chocolate. But you've showed us all that usefulness does come before cleanliness. So, he added, you shall have your washdown. Oh, sir. And a new coat of paint. Percy just beamed. The end. Fun fact. The first chocolate bar was made in 1847 by British confectioner Joseph Fry. Were you paying close attention to the story? Try the fun quiz. Who told the engines that there was a water shortage, which meant less washdowns? The answer is Sir Topham Hatt. Who said Percy looked good enough to eat? The answer is Thomas. What was Harold collecting at Callan Station? The answer is medical supplies. Fun fact. To make a pound of chocolate, you need about 400 cocoa beans. Stay tuned for the next story. It is summer holiday time on the island of Sodor. Vacationers come from far and wide to enjoy the beauty of the island. It is the busiest time of the year for Sir Topham Hatt's engines. Thomas was excited. Sir Topham Hatt had sent him to pick up a special to deliver to Dry Airfield. "What have you got there?" tooted Percy. "A balloon," replied Thomas. "A party balloon?" asked Percy excitedly. "No," said Thomas, "this is a very special balloon," and he chuffed away. Soon Thomas arrived at the airfield, and hot air was puffed into the balloon. "What is that?" huffed James. "A hot air balloon," said Thomas. "It will take vacationers on rides around the island." "Taking vacationers on rides around the island is our job," wished James jealously. Then, as if by magic, the hot air balloon rose silently up into the sky. "What if the hot air balloon takes our passengers away?" chuffed James. "What will happen to us then?" This made Thomas worry. Suddenly he wasn't so excited about the balloon. The balloon could be seen by everyone on the island of Sodor. Duck gazed at it for so long, he ran into the back of Stepney. "Why, it's a floating basket with folks in it," said Donald. "Whatever will they dream up next?" said Douglas. James and Thomas were waiting at the level crossing. They were still worried about the hot air balloon. "If it takes our passengers away," chuffed Thomas, "there'll be no use for us engines." "Passengers should travel on trains," huffed James, "not in silly balloons." Then something big and round and red drifted straight towards them. "We're out of hot air," shouted a voice. "Ah!" cried James, "what's happening?" Crash, bang, wallop went the balloon, and landed right on top of James. He was so scared, he let out a huge burst of steam, which blew the balloon up again. The balloon rose into the air once more. "Well done, James," called his driver, "your hot air did the trick." "Oh no, James," cried Thomas, "you saved the hot air balloon." "I didn't mean to," groaned James, "now it's sure to take our passengers." Wherever James went, he could see the balloon carrying vacationers across the island. He felt he should be taking those passengers. Rails are better than hot air any day. James arrived back at the station. There were lots of people on the platform. Sir Topham Hatt was waiting too. "Well done, James. But now the passengers will ride in the hot air balloon." Sir Topham Hatt laughed. "You're right, James," he said, "but they will need a ride home, in a train." James was delighted. Sir Topham Hatt was right. The engines were busier than ever, taking vacationers to and from the airfield. Whenever James sees the red balloon, he whistles and toots. And sometimes, when he's asleep at night, James dreams he can fly too, just like the red balloon. The end. Fun fact. Hot air balloons were the first technology to allow humans to fly. Were you paying close attention to the story? Try the fun quiz. Who thought that the hot air balloon was a party balloon? The answer is Percy. What color was the balloon? The answer is red. Why did the balloon fall out of the sky? The answer is, it ran out of hot air. Fun fact. Albuquerque in New Mexico, USA, hold the records for having the largest amount of balloon festival in the world with over 500 balloons in attendance each year. Stay tuned for the next story. Thomas the Tank Engine loves his branch line. One day, when he stopped at a small station, some children looked sad. They've closed our playground, and our favorite sand pit. Teacher says the sand is soiled and too dirty to play in. Please help us, Thomas. I'll see what I can do, replied Thomas kindly. Thomas hoped things weren't quite as bad as the children had made them out to be, but, as he passed their playground, a large sign read, "Playground closed until further notice." The children were right, thought Thomas sadly. He puffed into the yards and was just about to tell the other engines about the playground, when Percy rushed in. "You look glum, little Percy," said Gordon. Sir Topham Hatt told driver that he's using Harold to show a visitor the island, instead of using any of us engines. "Despicable," said Gordon. "Disgusting," snorted Henry. "Engines are meant to take visitors around our island, not that whirlybird thing," James exclaimed. Gordon was the first to see Harold. "Harold thinks he can go faster than me, I'll show him." Percy stopped by a signal on his branch line near a field where sheep were grazing. Harold hovered for a while, then buzzed away. "I know what he's doing. He's counting sheep," and Percy puffed along his line, feeling much better about things. Next it was Henry's turn. "Sir Topham Hatt has chosen Harold, because he thinks he's more important than me." "Well, he's not. Harold can't fly through tunnels." That evening, the engines talked about the situation. "Harold wants to get rid of us," said Gordon. "He doesn't need tunnels," added Henry. "Don't worry, he's just counting sheep," said Percy. "Counting sheep, Pa," snorted Gordon. "He's counting how many engines he can get rid of. He'll see how useful I am tomorrow." Thomas wanted to mention the children's playground, but solving the mystery of Harold and the visitor came first. The next day, Gordon was traveling to collect his train. "We'll show that whirlybird just how fast you can go," Gordon said his driver. But because they were watching Harold, they missed a signal and went onto the wrong line. Gordon was traveling to trouble. Ahead was a tunnel under repair. His driver reduced steam and braked hard, but it was too late. Later, Thomas pulled Gordon clear with the breakdown train. Sir Topham Hatt spoke severely to Gordon's driver. "Will Gordon be scrapped, sir?" asked Thomas sadly. "What makes you think that?" said Sir Topham Hatt. Thomas decided to pluck up courage. "Because the engines think the visitor is here to see if we can be replaced by Harold." Sir Topham Hatt laughed. "Well, the engines are wrong, and you shouldn't listen to rumors, Thomas. This gentleman is making a new playground for the children. It was easier to find a suitable site from up in the air, and what's more," said the visitor, "that tunnel sand will be perfect for the playground. Sand we found by accident, you might say." Sir Topham Hatt still uses Harold to fly above the island, but all the engines know that Harold isn't spying on them, he is just being very useful. The end. Fun fact. Playgrounds were developed as far back as the 19th century when psychologists such as Friedrich Froebel introduced playgrounds as a way of helping children develop a sense of fair play and manners. However, it was in Manchester, England, where the first purpose-built public access playground was opened in 1859. Were you paying close attention to the story? Try the fun quiz. Who thought Harold was counting sheep? The answer is Percy. Who tried to raise Harold? The answer is Gordon. What was the visitor looking for when he was flying in Harold? The answer is a new site for a playground. Fun fact: on September 14, 1939, the VS-300, the world's first practical helicopter, took flight in Stratford, Connecticut, USA. Thanks for watching. See you soon. Remember to like and subscribe for free to the Telltale channel and click the notification bell for more stories, quizzes, and fun facts. Check out the channel's playlist for more Telltale stories and fairy tales.